difficulty, which I still tie to education, enlightenment, the difficulty of a voter to take 3 of his ballot sheets and start differentiating where to put for PDP and YPP and another party is also what affected us. But PDP, which has been a party known with the umbrella thing, and APC, the broom, you understand, it was easy for people because this is what they know.
Okay, so I get it now, because you hear some people saying that just because we are educated enough, we're going to vote zigzag.
Yes.
While some people will say, we'll just put it there.
So
just
that,
anywhere you see the umbrella, keep putting it.
Annabel, I like the zigzag statement. I wish that zigzag thing has happened well in my own constituency. I would have been the winner.
Now let's meet Joseph Stalin, a revolutionary in the Russian Empire and political leader who led the Soviet Union from 1924 until his death in 1953. He once said, "The people who cast the votes don't decide an election. The people who count the votes do." Really? All right, so now let's also meet Bernie Sanders. He was an American politician serving as the senior United States Senator from Vermont, a seat he has held since 2007. Sanders is the longest serving independent in U.S. congressional history. He once said, "Election days come and go, but the struggle of the people to create a government which represents all of us and not just 1%, a government based on principles of economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That struggle continues." Looks like what you should be telling Nigerian people. All right, our next one is coming from Carl Thomas. He was an American syndicated columnist, author, and radio commentator. He once said, "One of the reasons people hate politics is that truth is rarely a politician's objective. Elections and power are." All right, Imelda Marcos, that's Imelda Ronaldez Marcos. She is a Filipino politician who served as the First Lady of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986, wielding significant political power during the presidency of her husband, that's the 10th President Ferdinand Marcos. She is the mother of current President Bongbong Marcos. She once said, "Win or lose, we go shopping after the election." I like this one. All right, our last one is from Kinky Fredman. He is an American singer, songwriter, novelist, humorist, and politician. He once said, "Young people are the key to this election." Do everyone actually agree with that, especially Nigerian youth? I guess my guest today, Engineer Nurudeen Hammanyero, who is a YPP House of Reps candidate in Adamawa State. Probably he has something different to say in that regard. Very warm greetings and welcome to D Conversation. We're reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabel Orji. Now you already know my guest, so let's go on this quick break. And when we return, my guest will be seated and we will kickstart this conversation. Welcome again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We're reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you're right on time for the interviews. Our guest on the show today is Engineer Nurudeen Hammanyero. He is YPP's House of Rep candidate in Adamawa State. It's good to have you on the show again.
Thank you.
Great.
Good afternoon to viewers.
How are you?
I'm good.
So how did it go? How did the elections go?
Yeah, it was very interesting. Very interesting, and you know, I was here some times ago, discussed with you
before the election.
Before the election, the need to sanitize the electorates, make them understand their value politically, you know, make them really stay away from this inducement and sometimes insulting approaches from we politicians, giving them handouts of either money or foodstuffs. Yeah, that I really consider an insult to humanity. You know, like I said, we have, in my own case, I have 43 wards which I have toured around, about 40 cumulatively. I can say the 43 completely because 3 were unmotorable, so I could not go, but a settlement of them, of each of the wards, were in a particular area in the local government. So we can say cumulatively we've toured around the 43 wards. Okay. We really talked about these things with youth, with women. Try and have an assessment. Assess us as politicians. Develop the habit of engaging politicians. Get to find out, do they really have a plan for you? Because the essence of representation is not by the representative. It's for you. I'm not
He's being represented.
Yes, it's you that I'm going to represent. So if I can tell you that these are plans I have for you, I don't deserve your vote. You know, we've done this thing a lot. And to a large extent, remember, I told you during the first tour, we saw a lot of good feedbacks from.
Yeah.
And even when we went on the last phase to complete the tour, it was an encouraging response we had from those people in each of the wards. Surprisingly, the election day was different.
Really? How so?
Very different, because money was a decider. And this really, you know, make me feel we have a long way to go. And we sorry to say this, I don't think we are ready for good governance somehow.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because if somebody will only come back to you after 4 years. Okay, let me give you a case. In my own local government, in my own ward, a young boy about 10 years old, on hearing the news that packs of Maggi is being shared in his general area, ran out from his house to pick some for his mother. In the process, he was pushed inside a gutter. He fell and broke his hand. Oh, wow. Yes. In fact, his name is Adamawa. Oh, sorry. His name is Abdullahi, but his brother was the one that reported it. Now.
So they just even to the extent of sharing cubes of Maggi?
Yes. So now I was asking the person who told me this, I said, does the family knows that they will use the equivalent price of 40 packs of Maggi to treat him? If Maggi is sold at, in fact, let's put it at 500, the least they will spend to treat him, even if it is a traditional approach, will not go less than 20,000. And if you are spending 20,000 to treat him, that means you can afford buying 40 packs of Maggi and keep it in your house. Yes, Annabel. So I don't know why we are doing this. And, you know, I also talk about the youth engagement in politics. As a young man, in your 30s, in fact, let's put it in your 40s, in your 20s, you see somebody coming to your polling unit with money on election day to induce electorates, and you feel okay. You don't take any action. Nobody is expecting you to take the law into your hands. But these days, technology have made things easy for us. You can bring out your phone, take record of this man, report him to the relevant agencies, and seek for redress, because this is your society. This is your future being destroyed. This is the future of a generation being destroyed, yet unborn. And you are seeing it and you are quiet. You have become a conspirator.
But we saw a couple of that on social media in other states. Are you saying that it wasn't the same thing in Adamawa State?
It wasn't, Annabel. Maybe you know, level of education, you can say, will really help side by side with this level of awareness. You understand? The more educated people are, the easier it is for you to make them be aware of the danger of allowing money to decide who they vote for. I can tell you, let me only use my own local government as a case study. I have 12 wards. The only place I would say the entire local government responded, you know, the outcome was so positive. Nobody was willing to hear anything except this guy has spoken to us. He has a plan and we are going to vote him. That's my own case. You understand? Nobody was looking for money.
Okay.
Yes, but the outer settings, you know, the other 11 wards surrounding the 12th one, the reverse was the case. And this should tell you that the impact of 1 as against 11. You understand? So even if I was telling somebody, I say, I'm very sure, I am very, very sure, if you like, come with dollars to hand out, you know, to people in, let's say, in Lagos or in Abuja. You can't change their mind. You can't. Okay, in fact, maybe the person will collect your money, but you will go and do what he wants to do because he knows that you are a terrible person. You have destroyed him and you want to destroy the future of his children.
So you're saying that in some region they are like, they are not ready to listen to politicians reeling out handouts because
perhaps
they are aware.
Perhaps they still don't understand that this should not be part of politics. And if it is only Nurudeen that is speaking, how do you expect everybody to understand? And it is why I made mention of, in one of the Hausa sessions I had in my state, that, okay, I'm challenging the youths in my constituency. From your unions, you have different unions, you know, set up some committees. Set up some committees that will involve everybody, all stakeholders in your society, so that these guys will be the one to really help in educating. Okay, once it's election period, you know, we are approaching the election period, they can now say, okay, we have formed a committee of 100. This 100 involves the National Union of Road Transport Workers, it involves the Okada Union, it involves the Association of Rice and Maize Farmers, it involves everybody, of students, of civil servants, of traditional, everybody is a union. Trade union. Do you not say, okay, we have 11 wards or 12 wards in Annabel. If we divide 100 by 12, let's say you can get 8 subgroups. And now say, okay, each of these groups, we have given you a tax. Go to Ward A. Your duty for the next 1 month will contribute money and pay for your accommodation and feeding and transportation. Go to this ward and sanitize them. Make them understand that we have suffered too much. This is 20-something years without anything you can point at and say this is the dividend of democracy. It's not really helping. They should not vote anybody that brings money. In fact, they should fight anybody that brings money. Sanitize these people. Maybe they still don't understand their value in democracy. When you do this, it did not come from me, who is asking you to vote me. It comes from you, people who are stakeholders, and it will help. But this time around, it's only Nurudeen that is crying. Don't do this, don't do this. It seems like Nurudeen is the beneficiary.
Probably is crying more than the bereaved.
You understand? Maybe Nurudeen is only crying because somebody will say, okay, maybe because he doesn't have money to spend.
Or he doesn't want to give shishi.
Or he doesn't want to give shishi like my brother Peter Obi in the Labour Party. He say he cannot. But yet, you can see because of the level of education, maybe in the southeast, as against my region in the northeast, it has made a lot of impact. Produce virtually almost all the members of the House of Representatives. So many senators. You understand? So we really have to be stakeholders in our community. We need to take responsibilities in our community. We need to help the government. Because if we say, at any given time, we allow INEC to do these things, we are not helping. You want to stay and continue to ride your Okada, or to go about doing your business, or to go about attending to your responsibilities in the office, and it's election period, and you expect good things to happen because the responsibility is for INEC. You have not helped. This is your community. You should help. The electoral umpire, okay, the INEC wants to go on sensitization to stop voter inducement. These unions can say, okay, we want to contribute our quota to this. How do we come in? INEC staff in a local government, okay, we have 40 staffs. Okay, we have 100. Anywhere you drop 2 of your staff, we drop 4 of ours to support you. And we don't need your money. This is a way to say we want our society to improve.
That's your own way of
yes.
Community social responsibility.
Social responsibility. Tell me and tomorrow if you are voted. And I also say this same committee, after this sensitization, can come back and say, okay, we are done with sensitizing our people about their right to vote. Now, you that wants to be voted for, cut across parties, come. We'll set up a good venue, time, and everything, involve everybody. Why do you want to represent us? They assess you. Not necessarily meaning that after the assessment, that's the end. No, but at least they will have, an impulse of, is this guy really ready for this tax, or he is just looking for money too? Now, at the end of this, these guys can say, okay, we've done the assessment, score everybody, and this is the scorecard. And this party that is a new party, the candidate happens to be our best. So you tell others, look guys, we've conducted this in party X. The candidate happens to be the best among you. He scored the highest. He has convinced us beyond reasonable doubt that he can represent his community. So go about with your campaign, but for us, we'll canvass, vote for him.
All right.
Now, if this guy happens to be voted for tomorrow, do you think he will do anyhow? And he will not, because he knows how he comes in. He knows what happened. He knows the process that led him to being voted.
And there's every probability that he'll be thrown out.
Yes, he did not spend money to campaign. He did not pay his own money to go and sanitize people outside. He did not do anything. The stakeholders did this thing. They find him worthy. And they gave him their trust, their choice, their hope. I doubt if, in fact, on a ratio of 10, you can scale him 9/10, he will do well.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you've actually talked about how much, in fact, it looks like we've already brought the last part of the discussion down to the beginning, because now we've talked about how we need to re-conscientize ourselves and re-sensitize our people. Now let's talk about what happened on the election day, where you were not just a candidate, you were also an electorate, and you were also an election observer. What exactly happened? We saw pockets of violence here and there in some other polling units. Was that did you actually envisage such? We know you've talked about voter inducement. So how about security? How was it in your area?
Yeah, security was okay. There was no violence on election day that I have seen or had. Only that we've reported cases of INEC and the INEC staff, ad hoc staff, claiming that on election day, since for the presidency, the Senate, and the reps. That means for every electorate, you'll be given 3 ballot sheets.
Ballot sheets, yeah.
We have several cases of shortages of the representative ballot sheet. We had to be calling the electoral officer of the local government. We're only privileged to do that in a local government that I was present. Now imagine we have 4 local governments. If these things has happened concurrently in all the 4 local governments, the loss it has cost us. Somebody will just come, he wants to vote. The INEC staff will tell the person, we can only give you Senate and President because...
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, in one of the places I came, I said, are you crazy? Can we put you on record that the ballot sheet for representative is exhausted? Are you not giving equal?
Did you actually put the person on record?
Yeah, we did.
And you have videos?
Yes. Yes. I asked my media guy to take record of him, asking him, can he confirm that the ballot sheet for reps has been exhausted?
We actually won't mind if we get the video so we can actually play it for people to see.
Yeah, not that but it's with the media guy at home. Because it's uncalled for. Why would you do this? And when we called the EO, she said, okay, she is coming down to the place. Before you know, he brought it out and said it was provided. And this is not one unit, not two, not three, because... So this goes a long way.
Did you sense any kind of foul play around there?
Of course.
Is it deliberate?
Of course, this should be a deliberate... Could it be that these guys are compromised? You know, this is why I said it in one of my sessions that it seems we don't understand our role in nation building, our role as patriotic, how patriotic we should be as citizens of Nigeria. Because if you know that the future of Nigeria on election day lies in your hands as the INEC staff, lies in your hands as the agent of a party, lies in your hands as the electorate, then I think you don't even need anybody to tell you who to vote. Because if only you can sit down, close your eyes, Annabel, and kind of have a sweep of how Nigeria will be in the next 4 years with a single decision that you make, then I think you don't need anybody to tell you that do this thing as a citizen. Be loyal to your country. Because you are holding on the decision of 220 million people, approximately. But you collect money and compromise. You collect money. And you know, that was why the last time I told you, I said, God can only, we have to stop blaming God as Nigerians, because God can only give you a leader from among you. If this is the attitude that you behave, you as the agent, we also have cases of our own agents who were compromised, went to sleep on election day.
Your own party agents?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And not only my party, so many of the other parties, their agents were nowhere, our agents were nowhere to be found. They were compromised, only for them to surface a day after election, claiming my mom was having a running stomach, my daughter is this.
Oh, goodness me.
You understand? This is somebody who, like, accepting to be an agent of a party or accepting to be a staff of the INEC is like taking a vow, you know, that you will do your best and protect the interests of the entire country on that day. Because what happens to Nigeria for the next 4 years lies with you.
And it even also affects you.
It affects you. You have children, you have parents, you have every... Even if you feel on that day you make a lot of money, would that money be enough for you? Okay, in some of the cases, it was 150, 100 or 200,000 naira that will be taken to a unit by some parties to be shared to induce voters. Now I asked somebody, I said, even if this 100,000 is given to only you should be given this 100,000. Do you know you can exhaust it in a day? So what happened to the remaining 3 years, 364 days? What happened to you? You are willing to sacrifice just on the election day. Just
what kind of response do you get?
You know, he will just be looking guilty and so sorry, stupid. Because that's why I said this attitude of, you know, to reawaken people's consciousness about the role of nation building, patriotism, you know, love for your country, concern for your fellow citizens. It should be coming from everybody. It should come from every corner. It shouldn't be coming from a few, because it will not make much sense. It will take longer period of time. But if we all come together and do it within the shortest possible time, it will help. So these are some of the things we experience. But as to violence, no. I've not seen or heard anything about violence on election day or after. Turnout, still the monitoring. It's tied to the monitoring.
So if you don't give me money, I don't come out to vote.
Yes, okay, now. I had a case of seeing people under the tree. Women who said they will not vote anybody because nobody has come to them with anything.
Oh,
they had a price tag on that day. You understand? They had a price tag. And I felt so sorry for them.
It's really worrisome to know that it's a different kettle of fish entirely when you go to different places.
Yes.
Because for the polling unit I went to, you have women who will tell you, no, they're not ready to collect anything. They just want to vote their conscience. And they were standing right there from morning till night. And then you are saying something different from your own polling unit.
Yes, which is good. And that's what I'm telling you. This goes also a long way to tell you education is key to anything in life. Is key. In fact, the most important thing you can do to a human being is to educate him.
When you talk of education, you're talking about formal or informal?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Because sometimes having one without the other also put you on a disadvantage. But having both, put you on a very good advantage. So, if only these guys are well enlightened, educated about, because it makes no sense that just on the last day you will give up. On the last day, on the minute that you're supposed to take that decision, you change your mind, do the wrong thing, and go back and suffer for the next 4 years. Does it make sense? It doesn't, Annabel. So I think like I said, level of, we need to do much more than we are doing today to educate our people.
All right, now let's talk about you. We know that you actually lost that election. So now, do you think that your people of Belwa, Jeddah, Ganye, and Tungu probably didn't decide to vote for you because they felt that you were new into politics, so they should just go for the old hand that they knew about? What do you actually think that led to it? Is it
so many things led to it.
Okay.
So many things led to it. One, very important, the strongest among all the reasons is the Atiku factor.
Oh, really?
I'm from the same constituency with Atiku.
Okay.
And this is the first time Atiku attracted sympathy in his entire region, the northeastern Nigeria. This is the first time in the history of his political career. The first time, all the state, in fact, shockingly, Atiku was able to produce Yobe State. So there was this wind of, let's just vote anybody around Atiku because we want to deliver him.
Why so?
It happened everywhere. Was it not what happened to Obi in the Southeast? What happened to the big parties? The APC, the PDP in the Southeast. PDP has been predominantly the party in the Southeast. So what happened to them in 2023? That Obi with Labour swept everything. So it was a strong win. What happened to Konkoso? Kano, that has been, sometimes they shift. Sometimes they could be a PDP, they could be APC, but any party they choose to go with, they go wholeheartedly. So what happened this time around? They dumped the two mainstream parties, stick to Konkoso, who is their son. They gave him sympathy, delivered him, the only state he brought.
So people are looking at candidates and not the party?
Yes. Not that they're looking at candidates of the party. There was this sympathy of we need to bring our own. You understand?
He's our own.
He's our own. And the same thing happened to Bola Tinubu, even though that was why I'm saying 2023 comes with a lot of changes. And most of it is interesting. A sitting president could not produce his state. President Buhari could not produce Katsina State for his party. Bola Tinubu lost his state for the first time. You understand? So all these things happen, and like I said, in my own case, the Atiku factor affected me.
So they wanted to bring, they saw, are you saying that they actually saw Atiku as our own, but they didn't see you as our own? Is that what you're saying?
No, not that they did see him, you know. Okay, when you go, if this election were to be conducted differently, president election on a day, senatorial election on another different day, the House of Representatives, perhaps I would have been the winner seated with you here.
Okay.
But the difficulty, which I still tie to education, you know, enlightenment, the difficulty of a voter to take 3 of his ballot sheets and start differentiating where to put for PDP and YPP and another party is what affected us. But PDP, which has been a party known with the umbrella thing, and APC, the broom, you understand, it was easy for people because this is what they know.
Okay, so I get it now, because you hear some people saying that just because we are educated enough, we're going to vote zigzag.
Yes.
While some people will say, we'll just put it there.
So
just
that,
anywhere you see the umbrella, keep putting it.
Annabel, I like the zigzag statement. I wish that zigzag thing has happened well in my own constituency. I would have been the winner. Because I think among all the candidates, I did the most sensitization. I visited everywhere. In fact, I was the first to complete my tour. And I changed the dynamics. This is
so there were the targets to.
I brought new things to the electoral our election our political space in the constituency. Now, when I finished, they realized I've toured everywhere, and anybody you talk to is Nurudeen. So it was now necessary for other parties to start going around to complete their tours too. It's no longer business as usual. That means now, if you are contesting, you have to come and talk. But on the election day, that sympathy of let's try and deliver Atiku, let's try and deliver him. Now, the guy from, let me call Danaba ward. Danaba is one of the wards in Jada, or Mbulu, or Yimango. All these are wards in Jada.
Okay.
Who was convinced by Nurudeen. He wanted to vote me. But this time around, he was told, no matter what it is, let's make sure we don't fail Atiku this time around. If he's going to win, he should win with us. If he's going to fail, let him fail with us. But let's show him that he's our son. Now, you collect 3 ballot paper. You don't even want to read which one is representative, which one is Senate. All you know is, since you are asked to vote Atiku, let anybody enjoy it. You just pam, you take the PDP. So this has affected us, affected other parties. In fact, to tell you, a sitting member House of Assembly, who also happens to be a candidate in one of the parties, who is a seasoned politician in the area, scored half of my votes. Half, and emerged as the 4th. You understand? So that's why I'm saying, if only there was no factor of Atiku, it would have been a different, but to God be the glory. We put up a good fight, change the narrative, and then there is hope now that and again, another thing that happened that I feel I should be celebrated is, for the past 24 years, it has been one group of people. One, Annabel, a particular tribe. And this is not fair for democracy.
What tribe is that?
The tribe is called Chamba.
Okay.
You understand? Yes, they are the predominant tribe in my constituency. But having stayed 24 years in a seat, I think it's fair enough to test other people and see what they can bring to the table. So my participation, guess who he brought? Guess what that has produced? He did not even produce somebody from the constituency. Because the PDP guy, his parents came to the place and settled. They are from Borno State. He's not even from the constituency. If you trace his root can be traced back to Borno State. That means if you ask him to identify his uncles and aunties in our constituency, he has nobody to show. But today, he is representing us. So this is democracy. This is the beauty of democracy. My participation has brought this to limelight.
Right.
So I feel I have done a lot. I have changed the narrative, like I said, and I still have hope that when I come back, I will be stronger.
Clearly, there's more to unbundle from this conversation, and we will definitely get right onto it after this timeout. Do join us again.
There is no need to reconfigure, no need. And you can handle this exercise separately. On election day, all you need to do, you go to the interface that provides you access to presidency and National Assembly election. It opens up, you do your exercise. When you finish, you close it. And at the end of the entire exercise, before the governorship, to avoid being tampered with, you can give this thing a high-level security access that not everybody will have access to it. And multiple layer. That means not one person. Different people can help to lock.
Trusted people.
Trusted people can help lock this server. That even if one want to have access to it without others giving him, is, it's not possible.
Must I be an ICT personnel to know all of this?
You don't need to be an ICT to know all these things. And then that means on election, for the governorship election, you don't need to start.
If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you actually just joined us, you've missed out on a whole lot, but then you can still join in the conversation. As our guest on the show today is Engineer Nurudeen Hammanyero. He is YPP's House of Rep candidate in Adamawa State, representing Mayobelwa, Tongo, Ganye, and Jeddah constituencies. All right, now, before we went on that break, we actually talked about quite a lot of things. Now, we also talked about how a lot of people have the mentality that if I just go to the polling units, I just keep putting my thumbs in one particular party. I hear people talk about that, especially when we went out to do reports, like in Lagos. Some people, when you ask them, even in Abuja here, when you ask them who is the representative in XYZ party, they'll tell you, I don't know.
They don't know.
But because there's a particular party that I want in as a presidential candidate, I don't care. I just put it there for that particular party, and that's how it goes. So how do we then change that narrative?
Now you agree with me, and let me tell you how dangerously this will affect our politics. Because, okay, the Obi win, like I said, perhaps could have picked somebody who cannot do anything in the National Assembly, and today he's going to represent his people simply because he was a Labour Party. Nobody cares because they want to produce Obi. They voted him. These things has been happening in Nigeria. Is what the Hausa people call sack. This zigzag thing you talk about. If we are going for this party, let's go for this party all the way.
From top to bottom.
Yes. And that top to bottom can produce a lunatic, can produce a junkie, can produce anybody, Annabel. And which is also bad for democracy. You need to separate the wheat from the chaff. We need to start doing that. That's scrutiny. Okay, it's education that led these guys telling you, no, I stay on this line, nobody will push me away. Once it is my turn, I have a candidate I want to vote for presidency, I have a candidate for Senate, I have a candidate for me. This is exposure. This is somebody that is well enlightened. So we need to make sure we, cascade this, push it down to the least person in the society to understand their role. Their role as to nation, because this politics is about nation building. You need to understand what role am I playing? What am I going to do? Okay, election day, is it because I love this party, is bringing in the new guy for me as president, I want to go? Does that mean I vote everybody in the party? What am I doing? Okay, I told somebody, I said, do you know that we have people who on election day, not because they don't have their PVC, not because they don't want to, but because they are unable, they are constrained completely beyond their imagination to come out and vote. Perhaps they are sick. Perhaps is a pregnant woman with her PVC. That day was her labor day. You know, a lot of people with those peculiar, you know, different reasons. Annabel, you that have the opportunity to come and vote, do you know you carry the burden of these people?
Those people.
Maybe she was taken on that day to a bad hospital that has little or no facility to take care of her situation. And she bleeded to death. God forbid. Maybe, you know, you can mention numerously to mention. But on that day, you just choose because you want to vote. You have interest on a particular candidate. You just went and voted everybody in his party, and as a result, the member, House of Representatives, to represent this woman is a junkie. Who ordinarily would have seen the problem in the constituency, bring about the establishment of healthcare facilities, bring about construction of roads, bring about presence of educational institutions, bring about trade and investment opportunities in his area. But rather, because you voted him, you gave him the opportunity to represent her.
And he just see that power was just thrown at his feet.
Went to the National Assembly, took it on a platter of gold. He is there. He is only using the money to his past, just for self-aggrandizement. Do you know whatever he does, you have a portion of it? Do you know that? The only time when you talk to people like this, like you speak to their nerves, they start feeling, you don't be looking at them, looking guilty. Annabel, and it is late. So until...
But is it actually late?
What has happened in 25th February? Is it not late for you to change?
You still have 2027, 2031.
Yeah, but at least, do you know damages you can cause in 4 years will take you maybe 5 times to fix it? Can you build, we said it the other day, me and you here, can you build a house in a day? You can destroy it in a day. And it's the same thing. You take somebody who doesn't know what he is doing, keep him there for 4 years, the damages he will cause you, you can bring somebody who is good, it will take him 16, 20 years to fix.
All right, now let's also talk about the presidential elections. Now we see a lot of people going back to court, saying that they want to reclaim their mandate. Do you actually see them having any reason? So that's one on the side. I'm going to ask you 2 questions and I'd like you to unbundle them in one breath. Now that's one on the side. And then secondly, do you have any reason to say that, okay, maybe I should head to the court?
Okay. We have finally accepted it as a part and parcel of our electioneering process. Court. It's so unfortunate, but it's now part and parcel of our electioneering process. In fact, some people say, do your best and get 50% outside because you can use the other 50
in court.
Now, whatever it is, the reason that the PDP and the Labour Party wants to go to court is best known to them. But if you look at what happened in 2023, you can clearly call it the good, the bad, and the ugly, Annabel. There's a good side of it, which you cannot deny. Big governors losing their election to come as senators.
Like Nigerians
sitting governors.
They were served breakfast.
You understand? Sitting governors losing senatorial bids. It's a governor on the seat with all the muzzle cannot make his way to the National Assembly. It's good for democracy. Like I said, a sitting president losing his state. It's democracy, good for democracy. Lagos State, being won by a new party, Labour Party. It's good for democracy. Now, if you come back, on the other side, people say, okay, there was rigging, there was this and that, allegedly. But...
And then allegedly also, people say it was deliberate.
All of them are throwing blames at each other. And I said to my friend yesterday, I clearly can call this in a case of who knows how to rig best. Because APC is accusing Labour Party of rigging in the Southeast. Labour Party is accusing APC of rigging in the North Central or in the Southwest. And somebody will tell you, if there was rigging, do you think Labour Party will win Lagos? Or if there was rigging, do you think PDP can win Katsina? So all this, and if you look at it truly, if there was serious rigging, there is no way. Okay, look at vice presidential candidates could not produce their state. In the case of Okowa, and narrowly Kashim produced Borno State. Atiku got Yobe State for the first time. So all these indices, if you look at it, you can welcome it as a good attribute to democracy. Now, we don't know real evidences that these parties are holding on to allege the winner has rigged himself, or his party have rigged their way up to presidency. We don't know until proven in court. But for me, go to court, yes. If you have a case, go to court. Why not?
So do you have a case?
I have a case.
Are you going to court?
I will go to court.
Oh, okay. All right, now let's also talk about the extension of the governorship elections. State.
It's unnecessary, Annabel.
So we're actually supposed to be during... at this point, we're supposed to be in our polling stations, but then it was
unnecessary. In fact, when I read it that INEC wants to reconfigure, I told my I said, reconfigure what? The BVAS is not the hardware that you call the BVAS. With our own small knowledge of IT, in fact, common sense, except if not these days senses are not common, but if it is this software, that is configured on the hardware that made the BVAS. Maybe if you go and uninstall the BVAS on the hardware, you can use this hardware for another thing. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. If you remove the bimodal voter accreditation system from the iPad, from the hardware I call is the iPad looking.
Yes.
Maybe you can use it for something.
Probably calculator or
yes,
something.
Not probably calculator. Probably just to use it as to surf internet or anything. You can use it for all those things. Now that means it is just the software on it that made it BVAS.
Okay. Yes.
You understand? And for me, as sensitive as the electioneering process is, INEC, who happens to be, at the center of this, you don't need to come and make yourself look so insensitive. It's ridiculous. In Nigeria, that after you come and be telling the entire country that you want to reconfigure the same device that is used for presidential election. Have you not thought of this when you were making your arrangements? Could you have provided different interface on the same device to guarantee this exercise at different time without necessarily one affecting the other? Okay,
for the benefit of our viewers who are not tech savvy, what exactly do you mean when you talk about different interface?
Different interface, I mean on your phone. Let me use common sense. On your phone, you have your application for your mobile banking. On the same phone, you have Facebook. On the same phone, you have WhatsApp and so many other applications. If you want to use, have you ever gone through Facebook to do WhatsApp?
Yeah, that's not possible.
No, it's not possible. That means anytime you want to do WhatsApp, you go to WhatsApp application. If you want to do, can you do your mobile banking on WhatsApp? You cannot do that. So what I mean, different interface, user interface, I mean.
Okay.
That means INEC could have make 2 user interface on this device. One, they call it the presidential and national assembly election, while the other, they can call it governorship and state assembly election. So that, and mind you, this BVAS, as it's called, has storage devices. It has storage devices. That's why you finish election, you scan the result and upload. That means it must have storage devices. So if they can provide this separate user interface for the electorate, partition their storage device on these BVAS, allocate a storage for the presidential and National Assembly election, and then the other two, based on how they look at it. But there is no need to reconfigure, no need. And you can handle this exercise separately. On the election day, all you need to do, you go to the interface that provides you access to presidency and National Assembly election. It opens up, you do your exercise. When you finish, you close it. And at the end of the entire exercise, before the governorship, to avoid being tampered with, you can give this thing a high-level security access, that not everybody will have access to it. And multiple layer. That means not one person, different people can help to lock.
Trusted people.
Trusted people can help lock this server. That even if one want to have access to it without others giving him, it's not possible. Must
I be an ICT personnel to know all of this?
You don't need to be an ICT to know all these things. And then that means on election, for the governorship election, you don't need to start, because, mind you, I say sensitive because you are sending a bad signal. You are sending a signal that can easily trigger anything in Nigeria. Because we are sitting on, I can't call it a ticking time bomb, but everybody is on tension. Obi is hopeful that if he goes to court, he will win, and you are telling him you want to reconfigure. Atiku is, in fact, some loyalists to Atiku on the TV are calling him Mr. President. I don't know if you saw his conference, his first conference after election at the ICC, where Dino Melaya is saying, "Sir, you are a president. Start behaving." Have you heard it?
We even saw a particular governor who started celebrating him even before the election results were rolled out.
Me, I'm particularly quoting Dino Melaya that says, "Sir, you are a president. Behave as one." You understand? All these are people with high hopes, and you say you want to reconfigure the device that produces these people. You are not. For me, and I think to every Nigerian, that's a very bad move, Annabel. We should not, because I really, I really love. They should have done this thing. Even if it means making provision of separate devices to cater for these exercises. That is, you can say it will be more expensive, but for safety and for the future of Nigeria, to avoid having unnecessary, bottlenecks, is worth it. But with the development we are having in IT, just like I just tried to explain to you, these are basic things. And like I used the phone thing, this is just a hardware. You can make this thing available even if it is for 10 different exercises on the same BVAS. You House of Assembly election, councillor election, chairmanship election, everybody, you can make it, and without necessarily affecting anyone. You can just segments.
All right, our time is fast spent, but before we let you go, I'm going to ask you about INEC's activity during the elections, in fact, from the electioneering process down till even the elections proper. If you're given a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest to rate the electoral umpire, what would be your result?
I'll put them on 5.
Why so?
Okay. Because 24 years since the return of democracy from 1999 is enough, Annabel, is enough for INEC to have perfected whatever we feel are challenges to our electioneering system. But till today, we are still struggling with basic.
But don't you think it's still work in progress? We don't have BVAS before now. We had card readers.
We have card readers, but Annabel, 24 years. And look at the money voted for this exercise. Hundreds of billions of naira. I'm putting them on 50. Okay, now, let me tell you I left my hometown 12 a.m. on election day to go silently and inspect the remaining 3 local governments and see the activities of INEC, so that I will be abreast with what is happening. I went to Jada, which is the next local government after my own. In fact, I left my not 12, around maybe to 1. I got there about 1:30 or thereabout. Do you know that I met everybody in INEC office? They have not yet shared their materials. Meanwhile, in my own local government, they have finished everything to the extent the EO was ready to go out to inspect the racks. Now, tell me, how will this not affect the outcome of the result?
But don't you think complacency of one officer shouldn't be rubbed off on everybody? Don't use one paintbrush to rub on all of them.
I'm just telling you. So INEC should make adequate arrangement, find a way to sanction, even though I've seen it, or just read it on the paper, I don't know how true it is, that there is one, is the resident electoral commissioner that was arrested, blah, blah, you understand?
And one that will be that will not be allowed to go through the governorship election.
Yes, you know, these are good. These are the good developments.
All right.
Yes, but on the scale of 1 to 10, like you said, I put them on 5 because the efficiency should be more than this.
All right. In just 60 seconds, if you can help us, what, like they say, he who fights and lives today lives to fight for another day. What are your plans? Have you given up?
No.
Or you actually left to fight?
No, Annabel, I can't.
What are your plans and strategy again?
I am really fighting for my people, not for myself, like I always say. And my joy is that even if I have not convinced a lot, but I have convinced some that democracy should be done the right way. And I'm very sure that this message will be taken to the next level, and to the next level, and to the next level. Mind you, nothing good comes easy. I cannot come on a one trial to change the things I have seen that is not done well for the past 24 years. I may be lucky to have gotten it, but I didn't expect it to be that easy. But I'm willing, ready, and ever to be putting up fights to make sure that this thing will come to pass.
All right. And
really, even if it will end up with me producing different people at different times, but not necessarily being the one, I will call it success, because I will be very selfish to say, since I start the fight, I must finish it. In
Politics
life,
is not a good do-or-die affair.
Yes, in life, it shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
If I can educate you, and you will be the one that will take us, look at what happened in America. With all the civil rights movement, people like Jesse Jackson, who contested in the American election since 1980, 84, 88, you know, with all the eloquency, could not bring themselves to presidency. But Obama, on one trial, got it. This is the ripple effect of what they have done in the past. But they celebrated him. They cried on that day because it was victory not for Obama, but for all. So if I'm going to put this struggle at the end and be the one, I'll be very happy. If I don't get to be the one, but see somebody do it, I'll be very much happy. So that is just the truth.
That's a very fine place to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Engineer Nurudeen. It's been a wonderful time having this talk.
Thank you, Annabel, and thank you to viewers.
All right, viewers, you've heard it all from Engineer Nurudeen Hammanyero. It's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. We've been actually chatting and taking highlights from the elections and the one that we are expecting on 18th March 2023. Thank you so much. In case you actually missed out on all of that, you get to watch it more on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much again. Like I said, my name is Annabel Orji. Keep watching The Conversation, because you never know who my next guest will be and what my next topic will be all about. Till I come your way again, from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Annabel Orji. God bless you and yours, and God bless Nigeria.